Hey everyone, wanted to make a quick video about helper lemmas and some tactics to help you with them and a sort of approach that I find really useful. So I want to go back to an example from day 13. We're trying to prove that plus is commutative. Now this lemma is going to turn out to be really useful here. I'm going to pretend that we don't know about this lemma and sort of see how we might discover the helpers that we need. So we start in unsuspecting, just like following our noses. Let's see where we get. We get here. You simplify, you say, okay, oh, you know what? I think I know this lemma, right? I think I already have that one. Then you get here and you say, okay, all right, that makes some sense where we are. I can see that I can use my IH this side. I can use it right here. So let's do that. Okay, and now you might get to this point and be like, well, shoot, what do I do here, right? If you didn't have plus NSM, you'd feel a little stuck. So what I would recommend doing is you might say, after like making sure that you've searched around using, I made the search video, you can look up elsewhere in the tools section. Um, you don't have a lemma that's going to do this for you, and you don't see how to do it. So it looks plausible, right? So let's take it and use it as a helper lemma. So we can just say back here, lemma plus helper, paste it in, and then okay, how do we take it just a plain goal as our helper lemma? First thing I would do is I would clean it up, or get rid of the primes. Now you might be noticing this is almost the same here, except for we swapped n and m. Okay, ignore that. And then now we need to add some quantifiers, right? Something like this. And then the main advice I would have for you here, other than maybe put this on another line, would be to say, well, you could do the work now, but like, let's leave it, right? We don't know whether or not this is a worthwhile use of our time yet. Let's go back to the proof we were trying to finish and see, well, does this solve our problem? Oh, it does. Right? So what we've just done is we've said, okay, suppose I knew this. Suppose I knew this for a fact. Would it let me finish the proof? And if the answer is yes, well, then you're in great shape, right? You're sort of like, okay, now we can go back and finish proving plus helper if we wanted to. Maybe find a good name for it when you're done. An alternative approach that involves learning a new tactic would be to say something like this, right? We get here, and we could say, okay, oh, I don't know, assert lemma, and then now let's just grab this statement. Okay, so this is the helper lemma. I'm just going to say admit. So this way I don't even have to undo my work at all. I don't have to go to a new lemma. Like, suppose we had this lemma. Or we're just sort of testing out, would this really do it? And well, it would. So now we can't QED yet. But what this admit tactic has done is it's like a mini admitted. It's putting an admitted in just a part of your proof that says, yeah, I don't know how to do this goal yet. Let me deal with it later. I find this to be a really lovely way to work. So later on, we'll give you case studies where you just have to fill in the admits of the proof. But even before we're giving it to you, you can use it in your own workflow to sort of prioritize the cases that you want to work on, right? Maybe you know the base case is going to be easy, but you couldn't remember plus and O. Okay, fine. Admit it. You'll get back to it in a minute. Go to the hard part. The inductive case is almost always the hardest part. So in this setting, what I was able to do, just to recap, was to declare this lemma inline and say, okay, suppose I knew this, right? The admit is the suppose this were the case. Would I be able to be done? And the answer is yes. Okay, great. Now that means, okay, I've really gotten confirmation that this is the right way to go without having to go back and declare a new lemma like I did the first time. So now let me go back and declare it, prove it, and then I can just use it directly. All right, I think these workflows are really, really helpful ones. In general, there's still going to be hard parts. Sometimes you can't just copy your goal and turn that into a helper lemma. Sometimes you have a more complicated helper lemma you need to find that somehow generalizes things to make it provable. And then you only needed a special case of it, but you had to prove something sort of more general to get your proof to go through. Um, all kinds of difficulties await. Just like finding good helper functions is really hard, so is finding really good helper lemmas, right? It's just a very, very challenging thing to do. Now, as time goes on, you'll get better at it, so be patient. All right, that's all I want to say. Talk to y'all soon.